Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com. Disclaimer. Tokenmetrics Media LLC does not provide individually tailored investment advice and does not take a subscriber's or anyone's personal circumstance into consideration when discussing investments, nor is it registered as an investment advisor or broker-dealer in any jurisdiction. Information contained herein is not an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any security. The Tokenmetrics team has advised and invested in many blockchain companies. A complete list of their advisory roles and current holdings can be viewed here at tokenmetrics.com/disclosures.
Good evening, everybody. This is Bill Noble, and we are live. This is the Token Metrics Monday live stream. Not just any Monday live stream, but one where we're going to commemorate and demonstrate some of the features in Token Metrics 2.0. Joining me along with our CEO, Ian Bellina. Ian, how you doing? We have our chief investment analyst, Forrest. Forrest, what's up?
Hey, Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm back from vacation. What'd I miss? Sorry, not funny. And we also have our chief technology officer. He is our architect for all the things that we do at Token Metrics on the machine learning and AI front. Veera, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Bill. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and it's very nice to have you on, so that the people out there can see, like, almost like the man behind the machine. So, Veera, I understand we've got Token Metrics 2.0 coming out. Do you want to just give us a broad overview of, what you did, how you did it, and then maybe give us a demo?
Absolutely, Bill. So I'm really excited to announce today that the TM 2.0, Token Metrics 2.0, is already live. So anybody who has access to it will be able to look into it, and it's been quite a journey. Because we were actually hearing what you guys were and what you wanted, and really wanted to bring to you the product which is good and which is best for all our investors and customers. So we have been working really hard to get those to you guys, and finally today we are a big day for us, for all of you guys, having TM 2.0, and I'm really happy to be demoing the product today, so that you get a glimpse of what it is and what are the new features that we are going to add. We have added, and the roadmap for the future as well. So let me start by sharing my screen. So this is the platform, the new look and feel. So to start with, we have come up with a new look, so that people will be able to visualize it in a better way and understand the tokens, and be able to go into each and every details and realize what are the benefits out of that. So this is a screen where everybody gets access to it, whether you are a customer or non-customer. And then we have provided all these details so that you will be able to actually go into each and every one. One second, let me go to my screen. Yes, here it is. So we have given you all the cryptocurrencies, and the good part of the TM 2.0 is that now everybody gets all tokens. Earlier in TM 1.0, we were actually providing a cap of 100 tokens for our hodler investor, to 500 tokens, and the professional customers were getting all tokens. But from today, all our plan customers will be getting all the tokens throughout the platform. And so we do have it. So if a person is actually not a customer, then they will be able to go and look into each and every token and analyze the price predictions and look at prices and look into the currency and markets, how it has been traded and so forth. But for the customers, once you log into the platform, you get a better part of it, where we give you this cryptocurrency details, where you could go into each and every token and right now analyze that, rather than going for search and searching it. It makes it easier life to go and look into the market cap and all the tokens. And we have multiple tabs here so that you could go through all the 9,000 tokens which we provide as of today, and going into each and every exchanges and looking into which is the most traded volume across every day. And then we provide those details, so you could go into these details and look into those exchanges as well. Now that we have this option, going into each and every currency, it makes it life easier. So let me go to the home page, and we have the tokens details page. So I click on Ethereum. This gives you the complete token details about Ethereum. So like the market cap, the circulatory supplies, and then the websites, the white paper, and all these details. And we have come up with a new price chart so that you'll be able to look into the trends of how the price has been moving up and down. Also with the tabular format of what are the percentage changes which happens in 24 hours or 7 days or 30 days or 1 year. And we have introduced the TM grade in a visual form, so that now for each and every token, you will be able to look into the daily, weekly, and monthly TM grade. As well as below, we also give you a graph of all the good stuff we do provide, like the technical analysis, the quantitative analysis, the fundamentals, and technology. And then we grade them, which actually gives you a better understanding of what the token is all about and whether it is worth it to invest in this token or not. And finally, you have all these things which comes from TM 1.0, the news, the discussions, the trends, as well as the social and videos related to that token, whichever token you have chosen. And we do have the price predictions, which you guys had in the past as well, but it's more of a visual, and it gives you a better price predictions on how the price has been moving for the next 30 days. As well as we have introduced the scenario analysis, which gives you an idea about how it would trend in the market for this specific token. And we have given two options. One is in a chart format as well as in a graph format, so that you can easily understand how the scenario has been, the scenario analysis part of it. Going on to the next tab, we do have the fundamentals. So what we have done is we have actually taken the fundamentals automatically, and we have scored them, and we have created a fundamental grade on top of all the detail analysis which we have done on that specific token, and also come up with a summary which basically gives you a layman description, or like a natural language, taking the numbers and then making it more easier for our customers to understand what this fundamentals is all about and what it brings to the table. Similar to the fundamentals, we do have for technology as well, which actually we have automated the technology from a code reviews from a standpoint of the repositories which you do have. So in the case of Ethereum, we do have so many repositories where we have Solidity, the Casper, the Go Ethereum. So what we have done is we have run an automatic code reviews, and based on this code reviews, we have come up with a technology grade which scores the code reviews of how that token or the company has performed, and what it comes to the from a code review standpoint. And on top of that grade, we have also come up with a summarized version of it, which is layman terms, so people can understand what it brings to the table and what are the technology grade and how it performs. So then we do have the technical analysis tab, which actually gives you the visual trend indicators. And so it also gives you the low frequency, high frequency, like similar to what we used to get in TM 1.0, and also the PL charts. And these PL charts actually talks about the strategies and how the P&L profit and loss of strategy happens for both low frequency as well as high frequency. And we have also introduced resistance and support, because some of our customers were asking for how is it happening. We would like to know the resistance support levels. So we have introduced this into the platform, so it makes easy for people to understand and about each and every token. And we do have the performance metrics similar to what we done for fundamentals, technology, and visual trends. we have introduced the performance metrics both in a graphical format and in a detailed format, so that you get all the details of all the ratios which we have calculated. And similarly, we get the top ratio like cumulative return, the Sharpie, the Sortino, and all these in a graphical format. And so this, based on that, we also created a token metrics, the performance grade, and also the summarization of it. And finally, from the token details page, we have the correlations for top 100 market cap and for all tokens, the high and low correlations. So this is pretty much about the token details. And now coming to the meat of the actual token detail metrics 2.0 is the revamped indices page, where we do have indices daily, weekly, monthly. And we have created all these index locations, index performance, and it gives you all the details of what coins are performing on a daily basis, or you click on it, it will go change for a weekly basis and also on a monthly basis. And you can now choose any exchange which you want, either through a Dropbox or just click on this, and it will change for the respective exchange which we provide indices. And this is related to the indices page. And then we do have the ratings page with a new look, and as well as we have brought in more of a categorization to this ratings page, because we heard people were wanted to have some categories so that they could easily search on it. So what we have done, we have given it more of all, so people can go in to look into the TM grades and how the trading signals are happening for each, as well as if you want to look into say smart contract platform, so then you could go and click on smart contract, and it will bring every tokens related to the smart contract platform. Or we do have a lot more here where you could take a look of it. Say I want to go and see Polygon ecosystem, so I click on Polygon ecosystem, and I'll be able to see all the records related to Polygon ecosystem and what tokens are available in that ecosystem. So it makes it more easier. You could now go ahead and even add it to your favorite. You click on it, it will create a favorite, and then you could just go to your favorites and see those in the favorites, all the ones which you have chosen. So this is pretty much about the ratings page. Then the new things which we have come up is the sentiment index, which basically gives you the sentiment index for the top 30 coins for now. And we have plans to introduce more coins in the future, but for now we are providing for the top 30 coins. And as well as similarly, we are coming up with a sentiment index summary, which actually provides details about all those coins and which one has better sentiment score on index. So, and we have also introduced the on-chain. To start with, we have introduced with the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins, but we are looking for more in the future. So it actually, we have graded the on-chain grade for Bitcoin, as well as given the summarization of how the Bitcoin on-chain has performing. And then we do have the exchange net flow, the miner net flow, NVT ratio, and stock flow for the Bitcoin, but we are going to add more graphs in the coming quarter. Similar to Bitcoin, we do have for Ethereum and also for stable coins. So these are all for Ethereum, and then we do have for the stable coins as well. So these are all some of the insights which we have been providing in TM 2.0, and now coming into the portfolio. So we have introduced manual portfolio. So this is actually what you would have seen in the past as well. But the new thing in the portfolios are currently all the portfolios which exist in your TM 1.0 has been migrated to a folder called My Portfolios. So that now everything which you had in your TM 1.0, you could see it in this My Portfolio. But we have also introduced something called add manual portfolio, add an automated exchange, and wallet. So if I say add manual portfolio, it allows me to add a new manual portfolio and then add whatever coins I want to that portfolio. Like say, for example, I go here and then say add transaction. I say 1 inch, 2 coins, save it. So now I have a portfolio which has been created with that specific token, which you could more look into as your second portfolio. So you could have multiple portfolios like this. There's no restriction. And all these things will be accumulated into the all assets aggregated from all the portfolios. Now we do provide portfolio for Binance. Let me delete this part of it, so I delete it. Let me delete this as well so that I could show you guys. So now I do have a MetaMask account. So what I do is I just want to go and add a wallet. So I go to all assets. I click on add portfolios. I click on connect and I say MetaMask. Let me pull my MetaMask. Okay. I copied. I'm going here. And I paste my MetaMask here. So it takes a couple of minutes to connect to MetaMask. Yep. So now that it's been connected, I click on MetaMask. I'll be able to see all my holdings. I do have only Ethereum in my MetaMask right now, so I could see all my holdings here. I could look into the transactions. Yeah, let me sync it. I think I need to check on that. But in the meantime, let me go to adding other portfolios. Like, for example, I do have all these exchanges. So let me connect to my Binance account, and I do have my API key.
On to the next on my live stream, but I think people kind of.
Yep. So that's pretty much what it is, Ian. So basically, this is what it is. So you could now connect to your MetaMask, or you get to connect to your Binance account, and we are adding more in the future. So this is pretty much what we have introduced into TM 2.0, Ian.
All right, Veera, thanks for that.
You want to talk about for TM2?
Pardon, I didn't hear it, Ian. I'm sorry, I'm a little hard in hearing you.
He might be asking about some of the new plans that we have.
Yeah, so basically what we have done is, Ian, that we have actually revamped the plans. So earlier we used to have a hodler, investor, and as well as the professional. Now we have changed that, so that now we have renamed it as basic, advanced, and premium. So people will be now having a basic plan. Like the hodlers are all now renamed as basic. The investors are all renamed as advanced, and the professional plan are all renamed as premium. And we are coming with a lot more roadmap of introducing more automated portfolios, exchanges, and a lot more wallets in the next quarter. And that's pretty much we are working on. And there are other capabilities from an AI standpoint, which we would be introducing into the platform going forward.
All right, thank you, Veera. So
thank you, Bill.
So let me see if I can give everyone a summary, because I did see some questions. So when we talk about our technology score, we're using automation and AI to actually read the code and grade it in the same way our human analysts would do the same thing for our small cap code reviews. So we're trying to expand that capability for you across large numbers of coins. And we're also doing something similar with the fundamental analysis that Forrest and his group does, right? So if you want to find a low cap gem, you no longer have to type in the chat, hey guys, can you look at this? We're giving you a picture. Also, just from how I use it, Veera's got this really nifty way of sorting through groups. So if I just want to say, I want to look at the big cap layer ones, or if I want to look at DeFi and see what the scores are, I can now sort by sector the way you did in equities. And of course, there's the portfolio page, which I talk about from time to time, particularly our daily portfolios, right? And even though it's only for a day, we had Solana in one of our portfolios show up every day for like a month. And it could be a great way to pick coins, because I know you want to pick coins. And don't worry, the market update and altcoin overtime are coming. All right. We're going to give you a way to find these things faster using Token Metrics 2.0. So more coins, more speed, more visibility. Now, speaking of visibility, I was out for a week, had a conversation today with Forrest about what's going on in the market. Forrest, tell me your thoughts, man. Let's talk about it. Let's have the conversational market update.
Yeah, definitely. So as we talked about earlier, we're at a pretty interesting inflection point where Bitcoin is on some pretty serious support. And I like the fact that what you were talking about in terms of timing. So we're right now I'm talking to the guy who predicted both in terms of time of the year, both of the biggest drops in Bitcoin in the overall market right now, right? You got sell in May, go away, and Rectember completely right. And now we're in a situation where the market's a little bit dicey. The Bitcoin's had this kind of Rectember or 1.0, right? And Bill, do you want to talk to us about Rocktober?
Yes, let's talk. Let's talk Rocktober. So, are we ready for a repeat? A repeat of what? Well, of Rectember in Rocktober, and possibly of 2008. So back to Token Metrics 2.0, there was ever a case to be checking the coins that you like on our visual trends indicator, now would be that time. Also, right before I get started, this is what we call the market update, where I go through some slides, maybe talk about it with Forrest. We also have something called Token Metrics TV. Now, there's shilling and giving you good information. Token Metrics TV has been around. I talk about it sometimes on the show. With Rocktober coming up, it's going to be worth your time and money to get this market update every day because of what could unfold in the future. Now, as Forrest graciously said, when pressed for review back in January as to crystal ball how the year would go, this was the guess. It was using traditional equity market seasonals, January up, sell in May and go away, come back for the summer rally, July, August. Okay, get out at Labor Day for Rectember, 1929 and 1987. The highs were right after Labor Day, just like in crypto. September is Rectember, followed by Rocktober, which I haven't talked much about. Now, one of the other things I said at that point was crypto is used to all the way up, all the way down, right? It's a bull market, and then it's a bear market, and it goes to zero. We sit around by the fire for 2 years, and then we come back later. And I suggested something else might be in our future, like the wild consolidation inside of a box or a triangle, okay? So it's euphoria, despair, euphoria, oh, thank God the bull market's back on again, and then, oh my God, it's really over, that's the end. Then after that, it goes to the moon and beyond. So let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is probably making one of these new to crypto diagonal formations. There might be a burst above 45K. All I can say about any rally from here on out is that I'm using it to raise cash. So it's not investment advice. It's what I'm doing. Now, what I think could happen here is because of Evergrande. That is this huge real estate firm in China okay, that may go bankrupt. I can talk more about that later. But when it comes to Bitcoin, because I know you care about this, I am starting to wonder whether Rocktober can mean a retest of 20K. Does anybody remember back in the day where everyone was like, ooh, can we break 20K? Are we ever going to see 20K again? That was back in 2019, 2018. Will we ever see it again? Well, I'm going to ask the same question. It went straight through 20K and we never saw it again. And if you just took this chart and didn't know it was Bitcoin, somebody who, might have read 60 pages in the book would say, it never retested that big support point, that big resistance point at 20K. Could that happen? Yes. Why? Well, Evergrande is a firm in China that does real estate. They have $300 billion in debt. They've been borrowing money in the bond market and using it to pay dividends to equity holders in the stock market. Sound familiar? Sound like a scam? Only the crypto audience would probably get that right away. So if the Chinese go, you know what? We're not bailing out this company, and we don't know who's holding all that debt, Bitcoin and other assets like stocks could all go down together. Crypto decouples at the end of the month, but Bitcoin testing 20K is a possibility. Now let's look at ETH. ETH is making sort of a diagonal formation, right? Sort of a parallel channel. And one thing I noticed in ETH is something I noticed when I was charting for a big investment bank back in 2008. Ethereum seemed to pull up short of the 200-day moving average, right? It went to 2,700, but it couldn't go to 2,600. You're like, what's up with that? Well, obviously, no one wants to sell Ethereum on a correction. No one wants to sell at 2,700 because there's a compelling bullish case. But when you have these like black swan, these unfolding black swans, because remember, back in 2008, it wasn't an overnight event. It took a long time to unfold. When you pull up short of an important support point, if that point gets broken, the ensuing downside could be very sharp. So for ETH, I'm kind of hoping there's a move to 3,300 or 3,500. Okay, so there could be a bounce, right? But what should you be thinking on that bounce? You should be thinking about protecting yourself. Also of note in Ethereum, back in 87 and 29, it took 55 days to go from the Labor Day top in early September to the bottom at the end of October. We suspect that if there's a down move in the market, it could end in October around the 29th or the 30th. So again, what are you doing between now and then? Well, we had sell in May and go away. We had Rectember, and in technical analysis, things happen in threes. Okay? So we've got to be careful, and we have to use our imagination, because in research, you get paid for imagination. And unfortunately, in this case, this is what we have to ask ourselves. How bad could it get? And how ready do we want to be to buy in October and not get wrecked early in the month? Now, let's talk total crypto market cap. Total crypto market cap hit resistance at around 2.4 trillion. Okay, so even with all the layer ones mooning, all right, total crypto market cap couldn't break out, obviously, because Bitcoin couldn't break out, right? Now, let's talk stocks. Who's guilty of crying wolf with, oh no, stocks could go down? Yeah, I've done it a couple times, probably more than a couple times. Now, in this particular case, with a possible black swan, here's how I want to do stocks. Stocks are forming a head and shoulders top pattern, except the neckline is downward sloping, not upward sloping. That's very rare. And it's even more rare that it works, even if it appears. Now, sparing you the huge chart lecture, all right, If equities start to go down and there's a very limited bounce once it breaks that neckline, it can result in really accelerated downside. So just like in ETH, where there was a formation where you're like, this breaks 2,600, it could really go. The same thing exists in equities. Now, for stocks, here's a question. This company in China has $300 billion in debt. And I saw a recent news article that Credit Suisse's risk management department was bragging that their systems beeped and that company sold all the Evergrande debt that it had. And my question is, who did they sell it to? Who's got all this debt that's probably going to go to zero? We don't know. And uncertainty is the enemy of legacy markets, and it can hurt crypto. Because remember, altcoins require a steady flow of money into the system in order to maintain values. If that flow gets interrupted by a 30-day black swan, I want you, our valued readers, listeners, viewers, and customers to be protected. This is a rare instance where I'd rather miss a bottom, because my personal cardinal rule is never miss a bottom. Never get bearish when it's turning bullish. I'm going to sort of break that rule because of Rocktober. QQQ, NASDAQ 100, same thing. Okay. Looks like big players were selling to small players, and that red line is the 50-day moving average. No crisis yet, but if you start to see these things break, these stock indexes break, you know something is coming and it could hurt crypto. Now, VIX, fear in equities. In these crisis periods, people go, oh my God, everything's fine. Oh my God, everything's fine. And we go back and forth. So first, the fear index was at 18, and then it went to 28. Everybody was afraid while I was on vacation. I thought I was going to have to cancel my vacation. And then it turns around and goes back down, and everything is okay. Well, I don't think anything is okay. I talked to our chief quant guy, and you have to be careful here that people are, everything is okay. Now, for MicroStrategy, a stock you guys know I like because it's so tied to Bitcoin. This is Michael Saylor's company. There was a head and shoulders bottom. There was a bullish flag. It should have gone up. But what did it do? It went down. So this has got me a little bit concerned. DeFi perp, DeFi futures contract is still below its 200-day moving average. Man, I would love it if it would burst back above it. But right now, that's not what's happening. Risky assets may be telling you that Rectember is going to turn into Rocktober, and nobody wants to get caught in that. SushiSwap, a coin that we've liked for various reasons, as I understand it, may have a problem with hacks and governance. Okay. This thing hit its 50-day moving average and bounced and came back off. Okay. And I would definitely be leery of this going forward based on the changes in the charts and the fundamentals. Now, back to legacy. I really hope that all this stuff is not a problem. We'll go into some altcoins in a minute. So smash that like button because I know you want to see the altcoins. One thing I wanted to show you is just how far Chinese equities, particularly the ones traded in Hong Kong, the Hang Seng Index, HSI, if you've got it in TradingView. HSI is in a 5-wave down. What does a 5-wave mean? Well, that means if given the catalyst, it can just sort of go and go and go. So I was like, gee, I wonder if Chinese stocks can go back to their 2008 low. Now that's like, well, Bill, that's crazy. I want to fade you and buy it. I don't blame you for wanting to fade me. But the thing is, China doesn't care about what happens in its securities markets the way we do. The Chinese are like, oh, well, some speculators are going to go bankrupt. Well, okay. gee, and that could wreck the US stock market. They're like, well, okay. The Chinese character for crisis is a mixture of danger and opportunity. They're a lot more, they can tolerate a lot more pain than we can. This is something that you want to consider when you're doing altcoin investing. Now, let's say you've got Luna and AVAX, right? And you're like, I'm buying Solana on the dip. I like this market. I say, okay, I don't blame you. But just remember, back in 2008, people thought they were safe in certain assets. And when you have an event like this where big banks or there's like this black swan systemic event, no one is safe anywhere. Okay? So this is gold from back in 2008. Now you're like, wait a minute. I thought gold should go up in a financial crisis. And a lot of people thought that. They bought gold, and guess what? It went from 1,000 to 720. Now, it eventually went back up, which is what I think is going to happen to crypto. So there is no safe place in a black swan. And protecting yourself is important. So last we spoke, I said keep 50% of your money that you're going to hodl and keep 50% in cash for trading. Not investment advice, but I'd be doing a lot less trading, stay a lot more neutral, okay? So you can be flexible based on what happened. I would also ask yourself about the stuff that you're hodling. Could you hodl it if Bitcoin went to 20K? And then I would make some appropriate adjustments. Now, speaking of adjustments, Forrest has got two charts that I like. He's got a great Bitcoin chart with some scenarios, and he's got that altcoin dominance chart with days to fair value. So, Forrest, can you take it away there and tell him what you were showing me earlier about, how to play this Bitcoin?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I can share my screen here, I'm going to, obviously I just listened to Bill's take, and he's telling us there's a possibility for a black swan event. And I take Bill's opinion very seriously. Now, does that mean 100% there's going to be a black swan event? No, but it means if we're not hedged against a black swan event and the possibility of Bitcoin dropping to 20K in October, we're going to miss a massive opportunity. So what does that look like from an application standpoint for me as a cryptocurrency investor and cryptocurrency trader? Now, normally I like to keep about 5 to 10% in stable coins, right? But now, knowing what I know, after listening to Bill, I'm looking to probably up that to 20 to 30%. Now, 20 to 30% for me, for somebody as risk tolerant as me, is actually a very high allocation. Now, your risk tolerance may be different, right? If your risk tolerance is lower, that might be 70 to 80% stable coins for October. For me, it's going to be 20 to 30%. I'm also very comfortable using leverage to lever up the buying power of those stable coins. Now, I want to briefly flash a Bitcoin chart up here, and you're going to see about 1 million lines, and it's not going to make any sense. So what I've done is taken all of this and tried to condense it into a pattern that's much more simple, or a chart that's much more simple to understand. I've basically created 3 zones, but before I get into those 3 zones, I want to zoom out a little bit so that you can see that we are, in fact, on these logarithmic regression bands, finding support on this red logarithmic regression band. And you're going to see that because I'm zoomed out, you can't actually see the red logarithmic regression band in here because what I've drawn overlapping it. What I've drawn overlapping this red logarithmic regression band is a long-term trend line on Bitcoin dating all the way back to August of 2017. Right? This was our resistance at $5,000 in August of 2017 before Bitcoin went on its big parabolic move. And then when Bitcoin came crashing back down after hitting almost $20,000, guess where it found support? And when it broke this support, it found resistance on this trend line. And then in 2019, when it made another stab in another mini bull market, it found resistance at this trend line. Right? And then we were separated from this trend line for quite a long time before recently coming in and finding support on top of it after breaking it in January of 2021. Now, after we got a bounce off of this support long-term trend line, the one that dates all the way back to 2017. And I'm actually going to change the color here so you know for sure, for certain exactly what I'm talking about. I'm making it blue, right? I'm going to make it even bolder, right? After we took a trip up to above $60,000 and everything got liquidated, right? And we got this crash, we saw a ton of support on top of this level, right? Most recently, right? And keep in mind how far back this trend line goes. This trend line goes all the way back to 2017, right? We've recently found support on top of it, bounced up above it, and now we're dancing on it. We're dancing on it. And that's when I say the market's in a precarious situation, in a precarious position where we could get one of these very nice bounces off of this trend line and go higher, or we could see a breakdown below it, in which case we've got Rocktober on our hands, right? So I'm actually going to delete this trend line because ultimately it perfectly matches up with this red logarithmic regression band, which has historically been very strong support in bull markets, right? So whenever we find support on this and bounce above it, we're going back into a bubble. However, when we break below it, the risk of a bear market is at hand. So what I've done is actually broken this into 3 quadrants, right? 3 quadrants, or I guess quad means 4. So these are not quadrants, but these are 3 sectors, right? So we've got this bullish sector here. And what we've got is our long-term trend line here, this blue long-term trend line. And we have our downtrend line. We have our downtrend line, which I'm going to actually color red for you guys so that you know exactly which one I'm looking at, right? So at the crux of these two, or the intersection, we've just had a recent bounce and support, right? So as long as we stay above this blue trend line, I'm pretty bullish. I'm saying, Bitcoin's fairly healthy, right? We're dancing on this trend line. It makes me uncomfortable. But as long as we're starting to trade in this range, I'm okay. Now we have strong resistance at $58,000 to $60,000 Bitcoin, right? So how am I going to get my 20 to 30% allocation to stable coins? Well, if we bounce back up here in the short term, I'm going to take some profits on my altcoins and on my Bitcoin, right? I'm going to take some profits up here and try to unlock those stable coins. I'm on the fence about unlocking them here and unlocking some capital here. I'd like to see a move up here to the top of this range to get some sales in at a higher price. But I'm being very careful about this. Now, if Bitcoin breaks through this this long-term trend line, the one that dates, the blue one that dates all the way back to 2017, I'm kind of neutral, kind of on the fence. We could see some chopping in this range. I would want to see us hold support at 37,500, right? If we come down here and we get a wick and we bounce right back up above this blue trend line, I'm okay, right? But this is where I'm starting to get real nervous, where I'm not really liking price action from Bitcoin. I'm going to give it a chance to get back up onto this level, right? If it drops into this range between 37,500 and this blue downtrend line, right? But as soon as we break below 37,500, I'm starting to get bearish, right? I'm starting to get worried. Why? Because 37,500 is our most recent point of support, right? And if we can't find support at 37,000, 37.5K is also a major margin pressure level, which I'm not going to get into on this live stream. But after our most recent bounce, right? Our most recent move, look how strong that move was. That move was very, very strong, but it didn't build any support. It just basically, if this was the stock market, it would have gapped up, right? And we'd have the potential to come back down to have to actually fill the gap, right? But we moved up so strong without making any support until we actually got a correction back down to 37,500. So if we break below this level, I'm a bit worried, right? I'm a bit bearish, and I'm looking for support around $28.5 to $30,000. Now, I think that we'll see buyers come in here. I think we'll see buyers come in here and almost certainly get a bounce. However, what could happen in October is if we get a black swan event like Bill's talking about, and we start moving below this range, and we make a new low, right? A new lower than what we actually saw off of this big event here. we're going to get, in my opinion, there's going to be a very strong chance of a liquidation event, like we saw where people got too long and everybody starts getting liquidated. Why? Because they think this is strong support. But if this support breaks, we're probably going to be in for a trip back down to 20 to 25K. We're going to see liquidations rapidly happen, and we'll probably see a wick down. So that's the bearish case for Bitcoin if we get a black swan event like Bill's talking about. Now, I do still think that it is possible for us to stay in this bullish zone, and hopefully we get a good fundamental catalyst with the Bitcoin ETF or something that can push us above this level, right? But if the Bitcoin ETF gets struck down and we get a black swan event, we're seeing things move downwards, right? Now, it may seem like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth saying, well, we could see it go up, we could see it go down. And that's absolutely true. But it's how we prepare for both situations and prepare to capitalize on both situations and make money in both situations and make money consistently regardless of what happens, that really matters, right? We know the price could go up. We know the price could go down. But if we add in some analysis and we add in some strong support levels and we add in the analysis from Bill on the potential for a black swan event, then we can start to consistently make money, right? I'm personally, I don't know about you guys, but I'm personally not in the business of buying lottery tickets and having my investments be lottery tickets. I'm in the business of making consistent returns. So yes, would it be great to lever up and go all in on a bullish scenario and try to maximize our returns if we see a huge parabolic run up? Yeah, that would be great. But there's only somewhat a percentage chance that that's going to happen. That is not guaranteed to happen. In fact, there's a strong chance, as Bill just mentioned, for the opposite to happen. And we want to be prepared for both scenarios. Now, I do briefly want to touch on the total cryptocurrency market cap scenario that Bill was talking about or alluding to, the chart he was alluding to. Where would we see total cryptocurrency market cap land in a black swan event? Well, likely somewhere around $835 billion, somewhere around our old all-time high, right? Makes sense. Our old all-time high for Bitcoin was 20K. Our old all-time high for a total cryptocurrency market cap was 835 billion. If we had a black swan event, we could absolutely see a wick down here. And I would think that would be a very good buying opportunity, right? If we see total cryptocurrency market cap get to 0 days to fair value, meaning it gets back down to this long-term trend line that has acted as support repeatedly over time, right? That'd be a good buying opportunity, in which case you would want to have 20 to 30+% stablecoin allocation. Now, while we're on the topic of total cryptocurrency market cap, I want to talk about my favorite feature of the new Token Metrics 2.0 dashboard, right? We know that in the long term, if we zoom out, total cryptocurrency market cap is very likely going to operate somewhere in this range, right? Over the next 2 to 3 to 4 years, right? Now, eventually we'll probably get into a logarithmic regression where we'll flatten out. But for right now, we're actually seeing very, very steady exponential growth. And we have targets knowing that this market can sustain valuations upwards of $3 to $8 trillion in total cryptocurrency market cap. Well, cool thing about Token Metrics 2.0 is we've got this scenario analysis now built in. So now we can take a look at Ethereum and go to price predictions and go down to the scenario analysis. And we can see on the left here, this is market dominance. These are our market dominant scenarios. And up on the top here, we can see our total cryptocurrency market cap scenarios in trillions of dollars. And we know, right, from the chart that we just looked at, that $3 to $5 trillion is pretty reasonable in the long term, given the next 1 to 2 years, right? And then we look at market dominance of Ethereum at roughly 18%. And you can see that right now at a $2 trillion market cap, total cryptocurrency market cap, we're at about $3,000. But if we go to a $3 to $5 trillion market cap, we can see Ethereum going to potentially $4,500 or $7,600. Now, we just talked about and I have to make sure to back up because, jumping back and forth can oftentimes confuse people. Now we're talking about a long-term scenario, right? We're talking about the next 2 to 3 years. We're not talking about a black swan event in October, right? We're talking about we're taking our time frame from short term to long term, right? Because I know people get confused. Oh, I thought you were just talking about a potential crash down to 20K Bitcoin, but now you're talking about Ethereum going to 4,500 or 7,600. We're talking about long term now, right? And that's what this scenario analysis helps us zero in on, right? And we've got this for 6,000 different cryptocurrencies. So I'm very, very excited about this. And it's just a fantastic way to filter out, for lack of a better term, the BS that a lot of times you'll see on YouTube of, oh, Ethereum's going to $90,000 within the next 3 months. Well, we know that that's probably not true, because in order for that to happen, we'd have to go to above a $10 trillion total cryptocurrency market cap and above a 90% dominance for Ethereum. That means 90% of the total cryptocurrency market cap out there would have to be allocated to Ethereum in the next 3 months. And that makes no sense, right? So I love the scenario analysis model on TM 2.0 because it allows us to zero in on actual realistic price ranges for us to zero in on, especially for altcoins, right? And it helps us chop out all the scenarios that are incredibly unlikely, right? Like we can see that $400 Ethereum is incredibly unlikely. We can see that $76,000 Ethereum, right, at least in the short term, is incredibly unlikely, right? So I'm going to kick it back over to Bill. I just wanted to share that how to use the scenario analysis over here because it's a tool that I'm looking forward to using on TM 2.0.
All right, Forrest, thanks for that demonstration. One of the things I can tell you about Token Metrics 2.0, the thing that Forrest just told you, is that is available for all the coins. So we actually figured a way kind of to put a little bit of Forrest's brain into our system. Now, one of the reasons why you want to have those tools at your disposal is think about what Forrest just told you. We have like a neutral to bullish period headed into like in the very short term, headed into possibly a more bearish scenario. That's my work. So neutral to up, and then, negative for October. But as you'll hear about, and as we track this on Token Metrics TV and on the live stream for you guys, is where do you want to be at the end of October? Can you imagine altcoins at fair value, right? Like you think you missed it, right? Oh my God, I missed it. 2021, this guy at the end of the bar is a millionaire and I missed it. You may not have. Matter of fact, there may be a huge rally between, say, October 29th and December 4th. So if the market is going to go parabolic to the upside, what has to happen first? They got to shake everybody out. And I mean everybody. The thing about Rocktober is it sounds a little bit sillier. Rectember actually sounds more serious. The thing about October is October can be so scary that you never want to be involved again, right? 1929, 1987 are filled with really horror stories about people getting really upset. And if we think Bitcoin's going to either 28 or 20, who knows? It could wind up at 17. The thing with October is it's always worse than you think, but for you, that could be better than you think. Because if you've got the capital to take advantage of it, you get altcoins at fair value. That can be something worth hitting the like button on. So on that note, please hit that like button. Because Rocktober's coming, we're not going to give you a hard time about a certain number of likes. We're going to give you altcoin overtime anyway, because Rocktober's coming and because we love you. Okay? But the more you help us, either by hitting that like button or going over and subscribing to Token Metrics, the more we can help you. So without further ado, I'm going to pull my PowerPoint back up and we're going to do altcoin overtime. And I saw somebody asking for Cosmos and Dot. Don't worry, I got you. All right. So let's talk about altcoins and how to play neutral to bullish short term, Rocktober, and then beyond that. Now, Luna, Mike Novogratz's favorite. Mike Novogratz from Galaxy Digital. I don't know. He's kind of like my crypto hero, right? This is his baby. So this almost to me looks like a one coin market. And Mike's kind of teasing everybody on Twitter saying, don't chase it. And of course, it just continues to go up. So Luna actually hit support around 35. It may go to 46 and it may hit 53. So if there is one big bullish push left, it will probably be led by FOMO in Luna. Now, people in the chat have been asking about multivac. If I've got the right symbol here, it looks like 0.022 was like a big resistance point and it came off. So in order for multivac to really do much better, it's actually got to get through its recent high. Now, something I think that could be interesting, even though I just told you that no one's safe in a bear market, it's interesting that Audius has come back down to $2, which has been really solid support. So I'm looking to say, if there was something that I was going to either tuck away at $2 and buy more if it went down, in other words, if there's any such thing as a DCA play, not investment advice, it may be Audius. Okay, Ren. Oh, God, this coin. We were on this coin pounding the table all throughout 2020. And it didn't go up as much as everything else did in DeFi. And then when the market went down, it went from $1.50 to 20, and I just felt wrecked. I was like, I can't believe how much I like this. This is a bridge. It's a toll bus between Polkadot and Ethereum. I was like, how could this thing go to 20 cents? Well, guess what happens as soon as you give up, right? As soon as you say, oh God, it's not going to happen, a teacup and handle forms and off Ren goes. Ren is showing up in our portfolios on Token Metrics 2.0. If there's another push higher, it could go to 1.5 or 1.6 along with the Polkadot trade. Now, I don't think you should chase Ren at $1.20, but that doesn't mean that this thing couldn't do a huge catch-up trade if there's one last gasp higher in this market before October. Okay, people were asking about DOT. So DOT's flying around between 40 and 25. And just like Forrest analysis, if DOT holds 25, it's okay. Like, it's hard for me to say someone's going to sell Web3 and interoperability. It's crazy, right? It would have to be a really big event for that to happen. And I want to tell you that you might be safe in Polkadot, but I just got done telling you that if there's a black swan, no one's safe. So if Polkadot's below 25, be concerned, all right? But it may just range trade for the moment. Now, AVAX. I underestimated this once it got to 60. It turned around and paid a visit to 73 while I was on vacation. Now it's sitting here, and I'm like, is this thing just going to go? Is it going to be like Solana, where it's going to sit just below resistance and break out and just go and go and go? And everybody who missed it or is afraid to buy it gets left behind? Possibly. So if the market has a week left, Luna and AVAX would be the trade. Would I chase this? No, I wouldn't. Okay, but I said that at 60. All right, so if AVAX is above 73 and you're in the mood to FOMO, carry on. Otherwise, if I've been holding this for a long time and I saw a FOMO move with a lot of people coming in late, I might be inclined to take some money off the table. An old Wall Street motto: nobody ever got fired taking profits. Okay, speaking of taking profits, okay, I helped get our customers out at 200. Even though I drew the line, I was like, God, I'm crazy. This thing's just going to go. I talked about a move to 125, followed Forrest's advice to be patient. It actually went down there. Now it's back at 150. So I guess it's reasonable to assume that if Solana gets back above 150, it can go back to 201, particularly if we've got one bullish week left. But to be perfectly honest with you, because this was a big FOMO trade, I don't know that I'd be necessarily in a huge hurry to jump on this, just like AVAX. It's got room to go up, but I would want to make sure it takes out 150 before I get too excited. Because again, if I know Evergrande is out there, so do a lot of other people. Now, Elrond, very interesting. Thought this might be the next Solana. It took out its old high. It came back down, and it's sitting here. Very interesting chart. And if there was something that I might be inclined to say, you know what? This might go up, because it went up and it came back and is retesting this zone. So I don't think I would be negative on Elrond. And if I was holding Elrond, not investment advice, you know what? Between now and the start of like October, on October 8th, I might give it a chance. Because if something good could happen in AVAX or Solana, I think it could also happen in Elrond. So the others, I'm more inclined to take profits. And the other one, this one, I might give it a chance. Okay, DYDX. A lot of people don't remember that we issued an investment report on DYDX a long time ago. The future of derivatives. And the analyst who wrote this is now doing really well for himself, right? And I'm really happy for him, because he was great. Is great still. Okay. DYDX has got more volume going on than Coinbase. Now remember, it's derivatives. So if DYDX has got a lot of volume going on, that should tell you something. Yeah, it tells you DYDX is good. It tells you there's support at 18. That was an old high. But folks, there may be a lot of hedging going on DYDX. It's a derivatives exchange. So there's more volume on Coinbase, but that could be short sellers and hedgers. Okay. So big volume in futures in legacy. Often it's like, oh no, the mutual funds, the Fidelities, they're trying to hedge. In crypto, especially for these players that put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, there may be a lot of hedging going on. So there's that, DYDX could hit 18 and go to 30, but there's the real story about what could happen in September. Now, I looked at IDEX, and I was really interested to note that above 42 cents, it would come back above the 62% retracement of its recent run-up. So if you were still hunting for like low cap gems that may be beat up, I found this really interesting. Okay, OMG network sitting just below resistance. Now, I've seen this before. There's been multiple chances or multiple tries to take out $9.30. So if you just can't not play crypto, I found something that was like, I bet if this thing takes out 930, it could go to 14. So if there's one last gasp left, and that's an if, okay, up could go OMG. Cosmos, Atom. Now, huge rally, does like a 3x from the bottom, or I'm sorry, a 6x almost. And it hits a big Gann line at 44 and comes off. You know what? This is probably a more, a stronger example. AVAX, Solana, Cosmos. Interoperability, layer ones. Great idea, great trades, connectivity, Web3. Is Cosmos going to be involved? Yes. If I made 5 times my money or 3 times my money in this, or a 1x in a very short period of time, I might be tempted to take the money. Okay. You can always, if all this is wrong, folks, you can always jump in. It didn't hurt you to jump into Solana, right? If you got to jump into trades, you can buy breakouts. Forrest had that like bullish section where it's like, hey, we can jump in. What I don't want you to do is get hurt and I don't want you to lose profit, particularly if you had money in Cosmos, AVAX, or Solana. Now, this was my darling, the future of money, QNT, and I'm going to tell you the same thing I told myself. QNT is like a payment system for stable coins or central bank digital currencies. I got cute after the run up. It stopped at 175 and it went to 400. And now, you know what? I'm about to get uncute. All right. This thing had its shot. I think it's good long term. But if this thing gets wrecked, I may be able to get it at 160. So patience is a virtue. Now, with that part of the presentation done, here's one of the things I want to say. While we were on the stream, I got a message from one of the smartest market guys I've ever met. He works in our quant department. And he flagged that 2 Federal Reserve governors just resigned over an ethics probe about their trading in their personal account. So let me ask you something. I used to work in an investment bank, and we were so crystal clear about what we could buy or sell. I mean, they made us take training on it. It felt like every 3 months. Are we seriously to believe that Federal Reserve governors didn't know what the internal trading policies were? And the fact of the matter is, these guys made millions probably being leveraged long equities using the worst kept secret in the world, that the Fed is printing money and buying stocks at the same time. So if you were a Federal Reserve governor and you made a bunch of money in stocks, wouldn't you sell those stocks to a bunch of Robinhood traders and quit right before the black swan? Is the Federal Reserve not telling you to take care for October? I'm headed for Idaho. I don't want anybody to get wrecked. If it goes up, I'll go with it. Let's go. Okay? But as you head into October, all I want you to do is 2 things. I want you to protect yourself, and it's kind of a hard sell. I want you to come join us at Tokenmetrics, right? Putting the card in for the subscription to get our newsletter, the market update on TV, Forrest show, okay? For our premium members, they get like a special webinar, right? You want to find the top in October and the bottom at the end of the month so you can catch the rally out into December, right? It's not going to unfold perfectly like that. So let us guide you. Let us help you, because this is the time where you need the best AI tools and professional analysis. Okay. Forrest Brain is programmed into Tokenmetrics 2.0. That's how I sell it to people. Our AI and machine learning guys have been working tirelessly, not only to get Forrest, not only to get the man into the machine, but refine our grading system, refine our visual trends indicator, right? So help you with code reviews. Our website, because I saw a couple comments that, oh, this is the same thing as CoinMarketCap. No, it's not. It's not. Plus, we've got the human analysts behind it. So that's the end of the shill. Forrest, any last words?
Yeah, let me cover real quick Cosmos and Nano, because we just keep getting requests for those in the chat. I don't want to leave anyone hanging.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Cosmos.
Yes.
Guys,
go ahead.
I'm big on, I like Atom. I like Cosmos. I like blockchain interoperability. I like Polkadot. I like Kusama. I like the entire narrative. But we're at the top of our trend channel. It goes just like just about everything Bill just covered. Yes, we could find support here. We could pop up onto this long-term trend channel and moon from here. Yes, that is a possibility. But if you've been an Atom from a really good entry point, taking 5, 10, 15, 20% of your position out off the table, taking out your initial stake, right? Taking out your initial investment from Adam when it's at the top, right? The top of its channel is usually not a bad idea. Like Bill just said, no one ever got fired taking profits, right? Nano, real simple long-term play, right? It's headed in the up direction over the long term. Performed really well towards the beginning of this bull market, has since been very, very disappointing, as have most digital cash solutions. I'm looking for support either on the trend line, and I'll zoom in here, on the trend line around $3, if it takes that long to get there, or at $3 at our support, $3 support before then. That's all I've got. There's your Atom, your Atom or Cosmos and Nano updates.
All right, let me see if I can do one more. I saw somebody out there asking for Tezos. Okay, so if you can see my screen here, you know, I really did think that this was going to be the next thing to go, as in go up, right? I thought it was a series of ones and twos, that whole start-stop thing, but it looks like everybody was in a big hurry to sell at 7.5 right there, right? So why did I bring this up? Well, of course, because I want to answer your questions and I want our viewers to be happy. I also answered it because this is a situation where I may have to eat some humble pie, change my mind, and wait. Could this go up? Yes, I really hope it does. In 3 weeks, I hope I'm going, God, I'm so happy Tezos broke out. But in the short term, it didn't. And that should tell you something, right? Especially if we're going from Rectember to Rocktober. So I don't want to belabor the point, but I do want you guys to be okay. All right, folks, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Stay tuned with Token Metrics. Token Metrics has a podcast called The Engine Room, where me and Forrest are on a panel every Wednesday. Check out our podcast, because if you don't have the dough for Token Metrics 2.0, you can check us out on the Monday live stream. You can check us out on the podcast, which is Monday with 2 of our news guys and Wednesday as a panel. Friends, on behalf of Forrest, this is Bill Noble from Token Metrics TV. We will see you next week.